I'm going fossil collecting along the Jurassic Coast today, and little golden nuggets of fossil delight will be coming my way, I'm sure, with all the rough weather, and delightful antiques as well to be found along the shoreline. It's Mary Anning's footsteps I'm going to be following in as I head down through towards the east, and I'm heading towards Charmouth down there in the distance. I'm going to go and make some discoveries, hopefully, on the 2008 Lyme Regis landslide. As the tide is receding nicely now, as you can see, I can even get along the sea wall here, down towards this little bit of ammonite pavement. You can see some lovely limestone ammonites here. The ammonite pavement, as people call it, is always nice to walk along the top of and see those ammonites eroding away, but I want to get down now towards this big ammonite that's fallen down just at the bottom of the sea wall. As you go down the steps, it's fallen down out of Church Cliffs, and you can see right up there in the cliffs the other half of it that hasn't fallen down, and everyone was viewing the whole ammonite during the summer months, and now half of it has fallen down onto the beach. So that's a bit of a shame. The one half is going to erode away. There in the distance is Golden Cap and Stone Barrow. I've just picked up a bit of antiquity off the 2008 Lyme Regis landslide on this fairly beautiful afternoon and evening, and the weekend has come and practically gone, but I'm out here in the evening and having a look just here in early November for fossils washing out of the mudslide. But at the moment it seems to be all antiquity. Look at this lovely door knocker I found a similar one a little while back, now another one. So I need a couple of doors for my house for all these knockers I keep getting. I'm going to do a bit of work on those a bit later and have a look and see what you think when I do some preparation on those. Here in front of the 2008 Lyme Regis landslide, you can see all sorts of manner of rust going on, old car parts. But I'm looking for the ammonites primarily, and you can see some footsteps there where people have trod. Sometimes they've just trodden ammonites and backbones into the mud, back into the mud. And here's one I'm plucking out of the mud here, one preserved in pyrite and a bit of beef rock. A very nice little fossil to wash up and scrub up when I get back. Just using a bit of rusty old metal, I'm scraping away in the pyrite, where pyrite and fool's gold, as they call it, is prevalent, and little bits of rusty metal, all gathering by the sea's actions. Those are the good areas to look for ammonites in. If you're not finding them on the surface, I suggest a little green potting sieve, and I'm going to utilize this potting sieve and hopefully make a good find. It's been really good here in this area recently. Some lovely, really golden pyrite ammonites. I don't want the big pieces of pyrite to come down to the water's edge to sieve, because they're just heavy to carry. So I need to chuck out anything I can see isn't an ammonite, and sieving from side to side, shaking quite vigorously so all the mud and muck gets out of that sieve pot, and then see into the sieve itself, see what I can find. The little perfect pyrite ammonites are really something to behold. That's a lovely one there, you can see. And also too, you can see a little freeloader on that, a fossilized freeloader, if I can say it like that. It's actually a serpulid worm, a parasitic worm there, fossilized on that Promicroceras ammonite. That's the male of the species, that ammonite, Promicroceras it's called. And quite fun find there. Also look here during the day, well, during the afternoon really, I've only come out for a few hours. Look at this little cluster of ammonites. You can see the small ones sparkling there in the evening sun, and look at that bigger one there with smaller ones in the chamber of the creature. So that's quite a cluster of small ammonites combined with one that's a bit bigger but eroded. And it's nice to see those fossils. I love to see the clusters. They're a real sort of good mix of fossils there, it's big and small, and quite an exciting thing to find, I think, out of all the little fossil finds you make on the beach. So I'm going to walk along the 2008 slip, do a bit more collecting at low tide, see what I can spot among the boulders. And here you can see really quite a nice ammonite there on that block. I'm going to pull away that big piece of beef rock and just show you that ammonite. And another one underneath, and it's always fun just revealing those ammonites. They're there for everyone to see, and they erode away on a daily basis, but everyone can come along and have a look. Look at all the scrap metal everywhere, and sort of round bits of copper, all sorts of manner of things. They sort of detract a lot of the time from what you're really meant to be doing, is looking in the pyrite for the fossil ammonites, and you get involved with some of the other bits and pieces on the beach. But nonetheless, it's fun to find the antiquity. And here, just scraping across the surface of the mudslide, you can see a really nice coin there, and hopefully with a bit of tomato sauce that will highlight it and bring it away from all that muddy concretion on the outside there, or accretion, I forget the name there, how you'd say that. Also to a ziff there, eroded by the sea's actions. That should polish up really quite nicely. Lovely sunset, evening sunset, but stick with us because I'm going to show you some preparation, some actual preparation with iron powder in a bit, and that's good fun. A little toy soldier made of lead in amongst the pyrite, all that heavy concentration, and you've got a little toy soldier as well. There's so many different finds. And here, as I get back to the seawall, it's important to see how the sea is coming up to that seawall. You don't want to be cut off at this point to get back up the steps and back home into Lyme Regis. So always keep an eye out when you're collecting. Usually an hour before low tide and an hour after is the best collecting time. You can go out to the area called Black Ven on and look for fossils. So I'm heading back into town, and follow me because I'm going to go and do a bit of workshop work and show you some really fun things in the workshop. I'm going past Mary Anning's statue back into town. Well, really good fun. I've got this door knocker, one of a couple that I've got. I seem to keep finding them. I'm going to do a bit of air abrasive work on it with iron powder. Look how all the muck comes off, and I'm getting that lovely golden sheen, probably of the brass underneath. And let's see how I go doing this really careful work to reveal more and more of this old antique. I've seen the Mac Master. He does some really good videos on YouTube about food, and I remember when he went to the James May pub to do a little bit about fish and chips there. I remember the front door of that pub had a similar knocker on it, so I think this may be a similar style to that. And like I said, I've had more on the 2008 slip. I just need a few doors myself to put all this stuff on. See how this comes up as I go air abrading it. I'm at Lizzie Hingley's place at Stone Barrel Fossils, using that iron powder to get off all that muck off the surface. Quite hard it is, and I'm really pleased the way that is developing out. Well, I'm wearing those quite sturdy rubber gloves so the iron powder doesn't abrade me, or abrade my hands at least. And you can see as I'm working down along the top of the knocker, there's quite an intricate pattern that she has got at the top there, and the door knocker seems to be working. That's the main thing anyway. It doesn't seem to be so rusted up that it won't work. And watch as I get to the end of this work and just see how beautiful it turns out. Thanks very much for watching this YouTube video that I've made, heading out along through to an area called Black Ven on the 2008 slip I was today, doing all that work there toward the evening, with the tide being low towards the evening. And like I said, if you head out an hour before low tide, an hour after, you can keep away from the dangerous cliffs. You're not allowed to dig in the cliffs in situ when you're down along the beach. And I saw some people today digging in the cliffs in situ. Absolutely fatal that could be. You could see big overhangs where they were mucking around underneath. And you really must be aware of the dangerous cliffs. They're liable to fall suddenly and without warning. Anyway, look at my results here. Finally, I've got this one to work. It's all abraded. It's looking very nice and shiny, a bit of gold. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and hit the thumbs up button if you like this little video that I made, and I'll still make some more. Thank you very much.